Hey everyone, Marty Snider, Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton joining you here. Christopher Bell gets the win at the Bristol Dirt Race. Jeff, are you surprised it took 3 years for a dirt regular to win the Bristol Dirt Race?
I am a little surprised. I thought going to dirt, I thought the guys with dirt experience would immediately have an advantage, but it just didn't seem to be working out that way. And Christopher Bell, though, he is a guy that has a lot of dirt experience, and wouldn't surprise me one bit if he would have been the first guy to win there. But over time, the talent comes out and stands up tall. And eventually, that dirt experience will pay off in the long run, I think.
Yeah, Jeff. So I know it's the third race, and this is going to sound silly, but in my mind, it was the first dirt-looking race. I think that the teams had to figure out how to adjust their cars. I think the folks at SMI had to figure out how to work the racetrack and prep the racetrack. We've seen mud. We've seen dust. We saw neither on Sunday night. That was an amazingly prepped racetrack with a very appropriate slicked off middle up to a cushion. What does all that mean? That means the dirt racers had an advantage, and it was clear with Reddick's pace, with Briscoe's pace, and Christopher Bell, not only his pace, but let's remember, a great strategy call to stay out is one thing, but he did not have the fastest car for the first 20 or 30 laps that final stage, and to run the cushion, and I mean the top 2 feet of the racetrack, lap after lap, Marty, with Briscoe breathing down his neck, that was an impeccable drive.
Hey, Steve, let's talk about Christopher Bell just overall, and let's just start with and not focusing on the Cup Series as a whole, just Joe Gibbs Racing. Is he, Steve, the best driver at Joe Gibbs Racing right now?
Well, I think he's the most valuable, and here's why I believe that. Martin Truex Jr. has a championship, but he's closing in on the end of his career. Denny Hamlin doesn't have that championship, but can win about every week, but he now has an ownership stake in 23XI. There's got to be some distraction there. Ty Gibbs has a huge future, but he's just getting started. What does that leave? That leaves perhaps one of the most valuable drivers and the most valuable for me at Joe Gibbs Racing. 28 years old, over 100 starts, now with 5 wins. He knows how to close the deal. And I have to ask Jeff, and I want to ask you specifically this because you have been both the young and the veteran driver. I wonder, knowing Christopher Bell's quiet demeanor, if Kyle Busch's leaving the organization has allowed Christopher Bell to just be heard more. Not because anyone ignored him, but he had so much respect for Kyle Busch. He was probably more quiet in the meetings. But now without Kyle Busch there, does that mean Christopher Bell gets heard a little bit more? And is that what we're seeing is a more comfortable guy driving the 20?
Well, I go back to some of Christopher's comments, even back to last year. He made some comments that made you feel like he might not be as appreciated as he wanted to be. And he loves being at Joe Gibbs Racing, but he did make some comments that were like, I don't know if I'll be back. He's just not sure what's going to happen in the future. And I'm sitting there listening to those things thinking there is no way that Joe Gibbs is going to let that guy go at this point in his career. You just can't do that. Joe Gibbs let Joey Logano go, and look at what he's become. You cannot do the same thing with Christopher Bell. And so Christopher, to me, you said it, he's the most valuable driver at Joe Gibbs Racing. Marty, your question was, is he the best? The very thought that you asked that question tells you how valuable Christopher Bell is, because think about who you're comparing him to. Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. So Christopher Bell, he is the cornerstone of Joe Gibbs Racing. I don't know if he's the best driver, but what's great about Joe Gibbs Racing is they have really, really good race car drivers, and they have all ends of the spectrum. You have guys getting close to retirement. You have guys just starting their Cup career. And I think that's a good mix. I like that mix. But listen, I take Christopher Bell all day, any day. If I was starting a team, there's no question he would be on my A-list to try to bring into my organization, because there's a young man, loves racing, cares about it, puts his heart into it, has passion about it, and he's going to be around for a long time.
Hey, Marty, I'll jump in with this.
Yeah.
We all want to label the best. If you're at the Cup level, you're the best. And that's who ends up at the Cup level. So let me say it a different way. If Christopher Bell is sitting in winning equipment, he can win. That's all you ask for on a Sunday. He is a Cup-winning driver who can do it everywhere you go in the right equipment. That's pretty impressive.
And Steve, I go back to comments. Jeff was talking about the comments from last year. I go back to the comments he made to anyone who would listen throughout the middle part of the year, leading in the playoffs, saying, hey, we're the best team in Joe Gibbs Racing. Pay attention to us. And then he makes the championship 4. So real quick, Steve, if you're buying stock in a young driver, Jeff said he's building his team around Christopher Bell. Is he your first-round draft pick as well?
Well, Toyota has both my first and second round draft picks, and that's Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. So right now, if you're the folks at Toyota or TRD, you have to understand that youth versus experience versus wins versus potential long run talent, they are leading in the young driver development. But as soon as we say that, William Byron probably go on a tear and win another 5 races, and we can have this argument again.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.